Well, it's just like when you eat toxic fucking shit. That's another thing, man. You're told eat this food, and then the food makes you fat, and then you're told, well, you're too fat. Take this fucking medicine, and then the medicine fucks you up in another way, and you take something for that. You're always told you're not enough, man.
I think because is the competition. A lot of these people are afraid of the competition. If you become better, right, that means that you're a threat. Making a threat, that means you're going to compete against them. They don't want competition. No, why? Why they want the competition? They have all the money.
You can't sell something to the man who has everything.
Exactly.
It's like that old expression, a good salesman is a guy who could sell snow or ice to an Eskimo.
Exactly.
And it's like, if someone is just good with who they are, how do you sell them shit they don't need? Mm-hmm. How do you sell a man or a woman something that they don't need?
They don't need, yeah.
Why? Hey, do you want to buy this drone? Why do I need a drone? Well, it's fucking cool. You should have a drone. Why? I get a kid to fucking pay for.
Where do they live? I live in the mountain. Okay. Imagine being in the mountain and just seeing those houses that are below your mountain in the higher place, from a higher, height, whatever. And we all right. But it's where the attack was the greed. It's the same as, let's say, the Beverly Hills, Hollywood. Yeah. Why you need to live there?
Because you can fuck kids there.
yo.
I don't know if I want to open that can of worms.
I mean,
I already talked about it on other podcasts. But it's so prolific, man.
I think was our first podcast together. I think it was the first episode that we went a little bit in the rant through the pedophilia.
Because it's just so prolific, and we're constantly distracted by it. And the royal family is doing it. Our politicians are doing it. Our celebrities are doing it. Yeah. It's just,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy, bro. Like now that I'm becoming a father, right? It scared the shit out of you, man.
Dude, I don't have kids, and I can't imagine. Like, I have a hard time watching those documentaries because I want to know, but hurting children is something that I can't. It makes me want to really fucking kill people. And I'm not just like, look, you're fucking Dane Cook and you want to date an 18-year-old. Fucking do you, Dane. I'm not just talking about if, Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't date women over the age of 25. I don't care. I'm talking about these psychos that abuse and groom fucking little kids.
Yeah,
okay?
that stuff is real, man. Oh my God. It's just what really hurts you is the industry. It's not about millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. That's what that really hurts. And I don't want to just go deep in the rabbit hole with this.
Yeah, we'll save that for another podcast because I want to inspire people on this one, not make them fucking want to explode their brains out.
Just to make sure, right, that you, right, as an individual, you are aware of it, right? But you don't want to give it too much attention to it either. You don't want to be the person that say, oh, so I'm assuming I'm not immortal, gonna die one day. Oh my God, then you got obsessed by that, You don't want to be that person.
Well, I did this with, like, when rioting started. I was like, dude, we're gonna have like a civil war, and I was like, and who says we? I don't know. I think things are gonna get worse before they get better. Maybe. I do.
We don't know.
Whatever. But I don't know, and that's what I had to tell myself is, you stop just getting obsessed with this. And I know it's easy to because life is uncertain right now, and you're just falling down a hill, and you want to grab a rock and feel steady. Yeah. And guess what? You don't get to feel steady.
No, this is where, in my case now that I'm my girl, this is where I just have to show her that I'm okay. That I know everything's gonna be fine. Yeah. She cannot see me just going crazy, like, oh my God, I need to have my guns. No, she had to see me that I have in control. That even though this shit is going crazy outside, inside this house, everything is fine. You don't have to worry about nothing. In some cases, don't get me wrong, it does concerns me. It concerns me.
I think if it doesn't concern you, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it does concern me in some cases that the fact that it could get to the point of a civil war. It can.
Oh, absolutely.
These people, and just what's crazy? It's not a majority that wanted to start this war from one side, but that small minority that are just creating all these conflicts, right, can instigate. a civil war.
Well, when you're a group of people who doesn't want compromise, then you're going to create conflict. Because if two people are fighting and one person doesn't want to end the fight, they're not going to stop swinging. And you can say, hey, I don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just talk it out, man. I get it. We oughta, and someone's still punching you. You get to a certain point and realize, oh, this motherfucker doesn't, this isn't a misunderstanding. This person hates me.
Yeah.
They fucking hate my guts.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. It just got to a point where it's not about, let's talk about this, man. It's happened. We fought for a little bit, but it's okay. Let's talk about it. Let's grab a beer. Let's sit down. It's not about that. It's that they really want to have a conflict. It's not that we're fighting. No, we just going to keep fighting until someone just drop that. And I think that's the point. Now, how long did the other side can take it? How long can the other side just keep taking the hits, until one day one guy just grab a rifle and start just shooting everybody?
Yeah, I mean, well, the question is when does a sedated society do something?
Yeah,
because we're a society that's kind of like a bunch of fat house cats. The most Americans have just had it easy, and they forget that you got to work. That it's weird to me that people are losing their shit right now. And I said this to a friend of mine. I go, you know, our grandfathers had to storm the beaches of Normandy. They had to carry a flag in Iwo Jima, and their fucking fathers were recruited for the First World War when they were 18. Hey, how was high school? Nice. Pick up this rifle, walk over that trench. They're going to be shooting machine gun bullets at you, and you're going to walk into them, and you're going to fucking die.
You know, that's
and
a
you're
good
going to
point.
fucking like it. And we're afraid about what we post. We're afraid about being ostracized as a bad person or not having the right opinion or having a fight on social media when people before us, every generation or so, someone has to pay a toll.
You know what? That's a good point. I mean, we have it so good. We have the Civil War, the Hispanic American War, the First World War, Second World War, Korea, Vietnam. Then the Gulf War. It was okay. I'm not saying it was bad, right?
It was a fun one. That was a fun little war, you know? I mean,
and then we have Iraq is okay, but it's not as strong. It's not as deadly as the others.
That's because society isn't involved in it. We're all going to the mall while the Marines are going up.
Exactly. Now I think it's we had it good, man. We had it good for a long time. And a lot of guys, I think I spoke about this, is that strong men create good time. Good time create weak men. And weak men just create this horrendous thing. It's true. I mean, you don't see the conservative side just standing up and saying, you're not going to destroy my status. You better just let that down. You better not touch that status now. And they don't do it. You just complain, where's the police? Guess what? The police is not coming. Guess what? The politicians are not going to be they're not going to do anything because they are afraid to be the cause of starting something that they know it could happen.
Yeah, no one wants to. I mean, so if you study the Civil War, you realize that the Civil War in America was supposed to happen almost 3 decades before.
Yeah.
And every president just pushed it off to the next one. Everyone knew this was going to happen. They knew that abolitionists and slave owners could not live in the same society. That they were so viscerally opposed to one another that this war was going to happen. That there was no compromise. There is no, okay, I'll own them as slaves Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday they get to go to the club and have fun. That was never going to work. There was no in between. It was all or nothing. And one of the reasons Civil War was so bad is because they waited to a point where our military technology had advanced to a point where now instead of muskets we were starting to get rifles. And we were getting Gatling guns and howitzers. And a war that would have already sucked. Sucked a lot fucking more.
I mean, by the time that we started the Civil War, by the 3rd year, we already going through trench war. I mean, you have sniper rifles and stuff like that. This is mid 19th century, so we just advanced so much in war technology that the fact that we waited so long for this, right? It's just to show you how afraid sometimes man is to just accept the fact there's a conflict here. We have to resolve it. Even if the side even if my side just gets hit or the other side get hit, we have to resolve it now. And I think we are in the point that whoever gets elected, let's say the current president get elected, right? Trump. We're probably going to have a huge reaction. So what are we going to do?
There's going to be reaction either way, man.
That's a good point.
Obviously, it'll be a lot worse if he wins.
Yeah.
And, dude, I mean, I also feel like this has been curated. This entire powers that be have taken a situation and they've managed to manifest it along basically racial lines and political lines when it didn't have to be that way. And I have a friend who's a black comic, and normally it wouldn't matter, but he mentioned coming to hang with me in New Hampshire. And he's like, I think I'm going to not feel right up there. And I go, I'm going to be straight with you, dude.
Yeah.
It's conservative as fuck up here, and there's no black people here. If you show up, I'm not saying anything's going to happen to you, but you are going to feel a lot of eyes on you, and you're not going to feel at home or in place. And I go, when I came back to the city, it was late at night, and I was walking through a crowd, a bunch of black dudes. I felt that too. Right away, I felt different.
Straight up.
I felt different from how I felt 3 months ago. Where even in the neighborhood where we were living, I felt different. And I was like, I knew my way around here. I wasn't always safe, but I'm not afraid of shit.
But now you cannot do that. Yeah.
But it was different. I felt it. I think they felt it. I think everyone in society is feeling it right now. And he goes, it's weird. He goes, it sucks. Then the environment I'm safe in, you don't feel safe in. And the environment you're safe in, I don't feel safe in. And all I want to do is be friends with you. And I feel like I'm looking at a situation that's been manifested. Both of us are just regular fucking dudes. We're not in control of anything. And the powers that be, they're the ones who walk away and go home at night.
I mean, when you have one side, just keep pushing. There's always going to be a reaction to those things when you keep pushing.
I'm sorry, it sounds like you keep saying cappuccino.
Love the cappuccino.
Dude, it's all right. I have a fucking awful accent too.
Yeah, it's okay.
Or they work for us, but it's like we're unique. It's part of our authenticity.
It's what makes me myself.
Makes you you. And
sometimes when I use it in my pitch, I always try to just pronounce my T as a Spanish T. It somehow makes it better. I don't know why.
Really? Yeah. What do you mean? How do you do it?
So basically, I go like we just did a couple installations here in the area, and all I want to do is just talking.
Yeah.
With homeowners and families. So really? I just emphasize that T just to get their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some impulse driven. You want to make sure you control your. This sounds kind of weird, but you want to make sure that you catch the attention of the
how you speak is very important. How you read people and how you get them to. That's everything. People respond right away to faces. And voices.
Yeah.
And there is a study of the human face, and some faces look... You ever look at someone and you go, that guy looks creepy? And then it turns out he is a fucking creep. And if you look at it, think about it by genetics, it's entirely plausible that a guy who is genetically predisposed to be sexually predacious or violent might also have a certain face or visage that goes along with that genetic. So sometimes... You fucking trust your instincts, dude.
You just go with your guts, man. Yeah,
sometimes you meet someone and you go, I don't think I want to chill with you, man. I don't want to chill with you alone, okay? We can chill out together with a group of people, but you are not chilling alone, and I'm not leaving any fucking... You ever meet a dude and you go, I'm not leaving any females alone with you.
You know who's very good with that stuff? The women. Women will be like, I don't want to stay alone with this guy.
But it's because the women have just as we were talking about how we've had instinctually learned stuff. In order for a woman to survive or to not be fucking raped or assaulted, she has to learn how to read a man.
And they are very good with that stuff. They can tell you right away, I don't want to hang out with this guy, and that's why they bring another female with them, just to make sure they don't get, don't get along with this guy, because guys can be creepy too.
Guys can be very creepy. I think every dude at some point does some creep shit, and you have to learn not to. I think it's just part of being a boy. Like, we all have a period where we think we're men, and you just realize, dude, I was just a fucking 19-year-old bum, or I was an early 20 bum. Some guys never get out of this, and they're 50-year-old boys.
Oh,
and
that's the one that you have to be very careful, bro.
And you think you're fucking being cool, or I'm just getting what I want. And reality is, you're being a fucking creep, dude.
You're being unreal. You're being you're not even being yourself. You're pretending to be yourself, but you're not. You know, it's just imagine just hanging out with a guy that's 55 years old and he still think that he's 19.
Yeah. You ever hung out in a group with someone who's much, much older, and you just want to be like, what are you fucking doing here?
Why? And then the way that he reflects or just converse is kind of, you don't have to be the cool guy around here. It's all cool. It's cool. Just be yourself, man. You know, I think it's because inside of you, that's against the incongruency aspect of things. You're pretending to be something that you're not, and then because you're close to that person, you have a problem. You know, your environment is being conflicted by it. You know.
Shit. We went all over the place in this podcast.
Man. I mean, just it is what it is.
No, it's good. It's natural, but I guess I wanted to ask, what do you think was instrumental in your progression? Was there any moments or literature or any learning? Because we both fucking struggled out here, and I remember you told me something your dad said to you. You don't mind me saying it on the show, which was, he said, Pablo, maybe you're not cut out for New York. And that lit a fire under your ass like I had never seen before.
So by the time that I had that conversation with my dad, I had it bad. Remember?
I remember. You had lost your job.
I had lost my job. I was trying to get my real estate license. I had bad. And then one of those moments that you start thinking, you start thinking God damn, maybe I'm not built for that shit. I spoke with my dad and he's like, Pablo, maybe you're not built for New York.
It hurt, right?
It's like spark a reality, because maybe 50% could be right, 50% it could be wrong. It has to be. I had to determine such thing to even be a reality or not. And that's when I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna just grab the bull by the horn and I'm gonna make this thing happen. Yeah. Some way or another, And I start just, grabbing the first thing that just come by and just trying to be the best at it. And from there, things got much, much, much better. But that was a reality check, bro.
Well, it was. And I know what you did, which is something that I've always done, which is why I think you and me are still around, is that the girl we live with, the one who lost her shit, was too proud to do certain things. Yeah. And we're not. We know you got to do what you got to do to fucking survive. Yeah.
I did delivery with a kick scooter. For a month, bro.
Pablo had a Razor scooter, and he would deliver Popeye's chicken in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Yes.
With a Razor scooter.
I would do that 11 p.m., 12 in the morning. I would do that stuff, bro. I would just earn my $100 a day, and I would go back home.
I used to hustle like a motherfucker late at night.
And that shit, that kept me afloat, bro. For real. That little couple bucks here, couple bucks there, got me afloat. I managed to even pay my rent with that kind of money. But, bro, I would just kick, from downtown Brooklyn all the way to my house, bro.
You ever do work that just humbles the fuck out of you, dude?
Dude.
Oh, man, you just do a whole day's work, and then you see your paycheck, and you just go, you just feel like someone just punched you right in the fucking belly.
I remember I would just finish my day. I'm like, God, there was time that I would only earn $25, bro.
Yeah.
I would just work for 5 hours, $25, man.
I remember one of the days that really got to me as I've been working for my labor union. I was taking out production at a theater, and it had just been unionized, so it was very bad pay, very bad hours. And I had just done a show. I had hosted a show, and I had my hard hat with me, and someone goes, "What are you doing?" And it's February, and it was during what we call the polar vortex. It was below zero. It was well below freezing in Boston. It was one of those nights when you go out and you're in physical pain within 30 seconds. And I got to go take this show out because you're working outside. Bro. And I go, yeah, I go inside, and then we go outside and load trucks. And that night, 3 of the workers got frostbite. I put on 3 pairs of gloves. I felt like my cheeks were peeling off my face. I remember being in such excruciating pain and I would have to go inside, take these heavy cases and carry these heavy steel things and bring them outside. And as soon as you could never get warm. And I did it for 4 hours. And when I got my pay, and it felt like 20. When I got my paycheck, I got $60.
Oh my God. Bro.
And I had got like 50 hosting that show as a comedian. And I remember holding my paycheck and just wanting to fucking cry, dude.
Yeah.
And being like, fuck.
Yeah.
Is this what I am? Is this who?
It's just those experiences are the one. I think that's the one that really humbles you. Like when you've been working for 8 hours, somehow you just earn only $20. That really put you in a perspective. Like, okay, I'm hitting like down bottom. I'm really hitting a place that I haven't hit before.
But those motivate you.
Yeah.
That always, whenever I had, like, when I would get complacent and I would go, you know what, Mike, maybe you just can't do it. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe the world just doesn't fucking want you. Okay? The industry doesn't want you. No one fucking wants you. You're the only one who believes in you. No one fucking else. Okay? You're just, it's taken years and you still don't have it. Fuck off. Go fucking roll over in a ditch. And then or just go back to your old job. And then I have one of those moments where, you know, I'd work overnight in the freezing cold and I wouldn't be fed. There was and you'd just be sitting there fucking shivering and you're covered in cuts and you get splinters and your feet are fucking bleeding from walking around in your boots. And you know you're just doing it for like $20 an hour before taxes, which in a major city ain't fucking shit.
It's nothing, bro. It's nothing.
And then it hits me and I go, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't. This isn't.
It's not worth it, bro.
I'm not going to shame anyone who does, man. Anyone who puts food on their table for their kids is a good man in my fucking book.
Yeah.
But those moments, they fucking hit you, man. And I've had a lot of those in this city. I've had a lot of them. I've had a lot of them in my life.
I mean, it just goes to show you. It goes to show you. I mean, it's going back to the church thing when we just used to grab food for the church. You already know your situation, how bad it could become, or you already become, right? That you're okay grabbing some food from the church when you know people will not even do that. You see. To the point that you reach that kind of mentality, right? Show you like, you know what? When one day I reach that level, right? I was gonna go back to those moments, and I'm gonna remind myself how to always keep myself humble, which is very important.
You're never above taking help, man. There's nothing. You ain't a bitch to say, "Give me a hand."
Yeah.
Human beings aren't designed to be lone wolves.
No,
we're designed to be packs. We're designed to help one another. Okay, you're not a man because you suffer alone in silence. You're honestly a bitch because you're afraid to be vulnerable and look at someone else and say, I need help. Hey, I'm a fucking junkie and I need help. Hey, I need, and I remember thinking I could conquer alcoholism on my own until I couldn't. And I'd be like, I can't do it. I need some fucking help. And you reach out and someone fucking helps you. And then you fucking help someone else.
And you know why you can help someone else? Because you know it could be possible. That's a beautiful thing. I think that's why we need to search for help for those people that already conquered those fears of those demons, man. Because they already did. So something worked for them. So why should I try it at least, you know? If it worked for him or for her, it should work for me. Why not? Yeah, so I think that's a great point regarding help, seeking help from people that are already, you know, successful and all that shit. And basically, the most important thing is just make sure that we always conquering those demons. They're never gonna end, man.
No,
they're always gonna be there.
I mean, you're always gonna have to fight. That's the thing is with mental health and sobriety is the demon, the monkey on your back. It doesn't go away. You just learn to deal with it.
Yeah,
but it never goes away. Inside, I'm still the same fucking fat kid I was at 8, who is like, why are my fucking nipples fat? Why do I feel good when I eat 3 triple cheeseburgers? Okay, and it just turns into a new thing. And cheeseburgers turn into alcohol, which turns into pussy, which turns into porn, and then you're gonna turn that into going to the gym, or reading books, or doing yoga.
Yeah, that's a great point. Anything that can substitute such activity is another great way. I mean, there's no excuses, man. No. To be honest, there's no excuses. If me and Mike, I mean, oh my God, just going back, bro. If somehow we survive from the jungle, bro, anyone can. But I get, again, it has to be personal responsibility. You have to understand that you put yourself in that hole, you can climb out from that hole.
Yeah.
But you have to do it from within.
Do you remember when things were getting weird in the neighborhood and we would hear people getting robbed outside the window?
Damn, bro. That was in March and February. It was getting weird.
All this.
Yeah. It was getting weird.
You can feel some shit in the air sometimes.
Yeah.
And I remember noticing that people were getting more violent.
Yeah.
And I remember we were hearing people getting their shit taken outside in the middle of the night.
remember that guy that he was telling you like, give me. He was fighting and they were screaming. He was screaming. I don't remember it, but something along the lines, "Give me my money back" or some shit like that. That was at 3 a.m. I mean, that happened like 3 or 4 times that same month. Mm-hmm. It was getting out of control.
Yeah.
Just to give a fun fact, the police station is like 2 blocks from where we live.
I watched that dude beat that woman in front of the police station.
Yeah.
Dudes aren't scared of the cops before, so like, imagine now.
Just imagine now. And
that dude actually. So, I for a second thought about intervening, but I realized that this is this wasn't a random woman. If it was, I would have gotten involved.
Yeah.
But it was
there was some type of relationship.
Yes, there was a relationship there. And when you interfere in those situations, in spousal abuse,
yes,
often they both turn against you. Most cops get killed in those sort of situations. And I don't know what's up. And my thing is like, dude, this is in East New York, man. This is a murder capital, Brooklyn. This dude could easily pull a gun on me. And at the same time, I took an edible. I was fucked up. And, right? So when he fucking suckered her in the side of the head and fucking dropped her like a ton of bricks, he goes, "Bitch, I just punched you in front of the police station. You think I give a fuck?" And I go,
"Okay."
And I go, "He's definitely not going to give a fuck about shooting a nosy honky. I know that much." I was like, dude, he's like, if this is how he treats the woman he loves, he's going to fucking end me. And I was like, all right, this is when I have to be selfish enough to try and preserve my own fucking life.
Yeah, and that's when you have to make the decision, this is not my battle.
No.
You just walk away. And
there's a time and a place to get involved, but I've also learned in this city I can't get involved in everything. And I told you about the time I saw the lesbians fighting. I was coming home on the train at 3 a.m, A train, watching this butch girl, and she drilled her fucking girlfriend in the face and was threatening to beat her. And I was like the only one near him.
Damn, bro.
I'm like, dude, 2 black lesbians, me. Like, regardless of whether or not I'm doing the right thing, this could like, if someone gets on the train and I'm fucking fighting a black girl lesbian, like, this just, dude, it does not look good. It doesn't look good for me, man. Like, there's how do I, and what if they both turn on me and I'm just fucking fighting 2 girls, just throwing fucking hands, and people get on the train. And I'm like...
They'll be saying, what the hell are you doing?
We asked Bob. Bob was a guy we used to work out with. Guy who had lung cancer and who had come back from it.
Bob, yeah.
Bob, I hope he's doing well. He's was 60-year-old black dude from the South, and he overheard us, and he goes, "You know what you do, Mike? You mind your business."
Yeah.
And I go...
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I have to... I'm a good person. We all obsess with our morality and whether or not we are good or bad people. And the reality is not everyone's good, not everyone's bad. We are a mix, and the idea is to be more of one than the other. Mm-hmm. And in the end of it's also like,
I mean, it's just so hard to make a decision in that kind of situation.
I had to be like, all right, she hit her once, and I go, if she hits her again, I have to say something. I have to at least say something, okay? And thankfully she didn't. Thankfully she just verbally fucking abused her.
You were saying, I remember that Bob was saying, like, if she hit her in front of you, that means that they've been in this relationship for a long time. He
said if she's hitting her in public, that means it's definitely happening behind doors. And it didn't just happen. That sort of violence, and I've been in a relationship where women have hit me, that it doesn't just happen right then and there. it builds up
It
to
builds
that.
up, yeah.
And it built up to that because I fucking let it build up to that.
Is that there's a escalation that goes from very small kind of acts, and then all of a sudden it just evolved to this weird.
It gets to verbal abuse and emotional abuse and
USC,
gaslighting.
and MMA kind of
and then,
shit. Yeah.
And then you're just fucking teeing off and
Yeah.
putting each other in headlocks.
Then all of a sudden they just, all of a sudden they're just doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the floor. I mean, that's not your fight, man. Just let it be. Especially in this. I mean, let me make an argument. Let me be the devil's advocate right now. If there was a community, you were close to your town, you know everybody, you know Frankie and Johnny and Paulie. If you know them and there's something like that happens, you know the situation.
Then it works.
Now it works.
But
yeah.
that's not something you can have in the city. And as
Yeah.
much as I love the cities, I've lived my whole life in the city. I don't have a community in New York. When I was in Boston, I grew up in a community, and I didn't have that feeling of loneliness. And I knew that you could interfere in the neighborhood because we were all on the same team. We were all poor Irish fucking descent immigrants or Irish immigrant children. And we were all in it together, fighting the same fucking demon to get out and have a better life. And this is why I think, I don't know, destruction of the small town, the community, and the family is the biggest thing.
I know you were going there, yeah.
Is no one's invested in anyone else. And that's the thing, is you can't really do that out here because you'd be fighting every fucking time. You get lost out here. People get lost, and that's why people's like, I can't believe there's homeless in the city. And I go, that's exactly where it could happen. Because if you had a tribe and somebody became homeless, you would build them a fucking home. Or if they became such a detriment that they were net negative in the tribe, you'd be like, all right, buddy, all right, bucko, fuck out.
Yeah.
You're out. If you don't contribute, you're fucking out.
Yeah, and that's the power of the community. The power of the community is there's some rules and there's some restraint, right? It doesn't have to be on law, but it has to be more than the moral value that the community has built itself. If you see that homeless guy and the community doesn't like that, they're gonna change the homeless life. Just get a job.
You don't get to be a leech in a small town.
Exactly. I think that's the power of small America, right? It's very community driven. They have very strong families. And a lot of these people don't like that because they cannot control that.
No.
When you have a community is very strong, it's hard to just come here and just do whatever the hell you want to do.
You can't change their moral compass. You can't just go in and say, this is the way your culture is going to change. I, your corporate overlord, I'm going to explain to you how you don't need this anymore and you need to buy my bullshit.
That is a good point.
I know you're happy right now. You're happy on your little farm with your wife and kids, but dude, you don't have a PS5. You need to have a PS5.
You have to.
And you're like, well, maybe I want a PS5. And you go, yeah, well, dude, you don't have a motorcycle? And you're like, no, I don't need one. And you're like, I'm going to spend a lot of money teaching you that you're not good enough without one. And that's how it works. And speaking of which, I don't know, how long have we been doing this? We've been going for a while, right?
What do you mean?
The podcast. We've definitely clocked at least like...
There's 2 hours.
2 hours? Oh.
Almost 1:45.
Oh, all right. So I kind of want to bring it around. What do you... where are you going to raise your kid?
So right now I was thinking, certainly it's not going to be in New York.
I don't think I could raise a kid here either.
New York City or even upstate New York is not even a place.
Maybe in like... I would go to
Midwest.
Woodlawn where the Irish are and raise a kid there. But even there, it's...
Yeah.
Maybe.
Midwest. I'll go into the Midwest of the country, probably, Wisconsin. I'm very familiar with Wisconsin or Iowa, Illinois. It's very family oriented. Blue collar kind of culture. I like that. And it's cheap, man.
Yeah.
It's just the properties are cheap. With $300,000, I can have a nice big house, bro. Here, with $3,000, the only thing I can do is just wipe my ass. It's the truth, man. You cannot buy a house with $3,000 in the city or in New York.
Well, not now. Who knows what the fucking this recession will do? But as of now,
you can't. So I have to think not only the property but the family oriented culture, job. I like to do virtual and affiliate marketing, music. I'm doing good with music distribution. That's a plus, All the stuff doesn't matter where I go. I'm always gonna make the money.
Yeah, you know what? That's the right thing to have. Is wherever I go, I bring my talent and myself with it. And this was something I came to a realization with: is I'm going to come back to the city, but I don't need to be here to succeed. And I told myself I did. And the reality is that as much as I hated the internet, as we're doing right now, allows random people to hear us and allows us to reach out to people. And it allows us to free ourselves from gatekeepers who don't want us. Yeah. And I'll be completely fucking real right now. I've been called out for this. The comedy industry, doesn't want white dudes right now. And unless you're clearly gay, and even then, they don't want a guy. They need you to be like flamboyant or some version of non-binary, genderqueer. But if you're an alpha, like if you're like, one of the reasons they want to cancel Rogan is just you can say whatever they want about him. It's because Rogan is an unapologetic alpha male, and there's a group of people who hate that. And I've encountered these people for a long time, and they'll just meet me, and I know you hate me. I haven't said a word to you, and you hate me, and it's because I will not kowtow to you. I will not give you the satisfaction of feeling like you're superior to me. Well, then I'm weak. You don't get it. I will not give in. Doesn't matter what you fucking do to me. You're not fucking doing it. And I realized because I had a friend who went to NACA, which is where you go to meet colleges and they hire you, and they said, "Hey, dude, this guy's an amazing comedian." Yeah. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away who he is because I don't want to put his story out there. But they said to him, "You're amazing and you're funny, but sucks you're a white dude."
Damn, bro.
Another guy I know who had a TV show, his agent told him, he goes, "Why won't you turn my calls?" And he goes, "You picked it wrong. You had to be a white dude in Hollywood." And it's basically, and they're not just doing it; they're doing it to a lot of minority men who act masculine and alpha too.
So it's a masculine trait that they don't want to portray.
Yes, if you look at a lot of black comics now that are coming out against specials, they're usually very passive, effeminate, and nerdy. And they're not like, it's not a Def Jam, it's not a strong black fucking dude from Bed-Stuy getting up there, fucking being confident, telling jokes the way he does. Like, they've wanted to cancel Chappelle, and they couldn't. They've tried because he's unapologetic. And I realized if these people didn't want me before what's going on in America right now, before America was kind of like, white dudes, fucking, you guys are the devil, they're definitely not going to want me after. So why am I still barking up their tree? And why don't I just do my own fucking thing?
That's a great point, man. And I think finding the niche is very important. I mean, you know the industry. I know the industry. It's just there's a reality that we cannot control. Right?
You just control us, bro. Yeah.
All we can do is just control what we can just produce, right? And just make sure if people like your material, they're going to like it either way. They're going to like it either way. So just make sure that we just build ourselves from the way down to the heavens,
Yeah, man. It's I guess if there's something to come away from this, it's family's not a fucking death sentence like we've been told. Our generation has been brainwashed into that, and it's fucking good to be loved, dude. I know I said a lot of corny ass fucking shit on this podcast, but it's good. Like, they are. Like, when I've been hanging out with my cousin's kids, like, her husband goes, "Isn't it nice? Don't you feel like a rock star?" And I go, "I do. I do. I show up and they just love me. Yeah. They love me for me." And the other day I forget that they're there, and I do that thing that you do as an adult where I talk to their parents. I go, "Who's a fucking dummy?" And I'm about to say that someone we know is a dumb. And they go, "Who's a dummy?" And I go, "I shouldn't tell you this." And I go, "I'm a dummy." And they go, "Michael, you're not a dummy. Why would you ever say that about you?" And I go, I'm like, you guys fucking believe in me. You haven't realized there's cooler fucking people out there in the world.
So, I mean, there's so many topics about, we can just even ravel that one to another rabbit hole about just brainwashing millennials to think that having a family is not even a priority, or it's not even important.
Yeah, and look, family's not for everyone. If it isn't for you, you shouldn't be pushed into it. I'm all for, if you don't want it, don't do it. But I would say that I feel more people are encouraged, at least in the entertainment industry, not to than to have one. No one's ever said, have a kid that's good for your career. It's always, don't have one, they're bad for your career.
It makes sense. I mean, now you're putting a priority to your family instead of your age and whatever that these people tell you. I mean, now you're thinking like, now I need to do this not only for me, but for my family. And now you have a wife, you have kids and stuff like that, and they're thinking like, oh, I'm losing control because now these things are more priority for him as the art, but then he has to choose which one is a priority in the moment. Just to be honest, man, and that's a good point, not everyone can have a family.
No, not everyone's built for it. Not everyone has to have to. You have 5 kids and make up for that dude who isn't having any.
Yeah. And it's just that and that's going to be another topic. I think a lot of these millennials, they're 32, 35, and they still looking themselves, right? Probably they are lost to their purpose, And the purpose could be very simple. Purpose could be a family. Purpose can be help. Purpose can be becoming an inspirational speaker, comedian, musician, but they're lost on that, And I think something happened in the generation of millennials that we somehow just detach ourselves from hitting something as a goal, right? So right now we just trying to still live a life, like still live in college with roommates and stuff like that. Then
I think that our growth into adulthood has been retarded. It has been. I don't know if I use that correctly.
Late,
but yes,
late.
It is. And part of that is, how do you start a family when you're $300,000 in student loan debt?
Yeah.
I'm in debt.
Can't.
You're in debt. We're both dudes who did everything to get to a better life. We did what we were supposed to, like what we were told to do by the people we trusted. Every authority figure I've ever known has fucking lied to me, and not for my own good. And then people call me a conspiracy theorist when I say I don't trust the medical industry, or I don't trust my politicians. I don't trust the fucking the military industrial complex or the food industrial complex. I don't trust these people because they've continually told me to do this, and it's always been against my best interests. All right, you can't have a family, or you can try, but it's difficult to have a family or to even move into that next step of your life when you're crippled in debt and houses are more expensive and kids are more expensive.
Mike, you're not going to believe how much it costs like a small 1-bedroom apartment in Manhattan.
Yeah?
$6.5 million, bro. Small apartment.
Hey,
you know how much.
Here's to the recession, baby.
Yeah, I was telling my girl that if you want to buy a property in Manhattan, just let that market just crash down to the ground, man, and then buy something if you want to. But buy an apartment, 1 bedroom, for $6.5 million. You can take that $6.5 million. You can buy mansions, like hundreds of mansions across the United States.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is, man.
You can go live under a fucking mountain, man, by a river.
Be in the mountain, buy the mountain, right? Buy the river, have a family, have a house, and you still have $5 million left.
I'm torn because who knows if I end up having kids in the end. But I think about it more and more now, and I'm far more open about it than when I was younger and I said I would never have them. And I think I want my kids to grow up in an environment where they can be nurtured, but I don't want them to grow up in an environment where they can be soft. Like, I don't know. I grew up around anger and violence and stepping over hypodermic heroin needles as a little boy. And my thought is, and in very violent, horrible schools. And I'm like, that did make me stronger. So how do I raise my kids in an environment where they can become stronger, and they have to get scars and they have to suffer and get trauma without it also destroying them, but also giving them a good fucking opportunity in childhood?
How can I say this? You can still raise them to be like that, but you have to be the model for that. Yeah. You have to be the model. Okay, you if your kid want to be a strong man and go to the world strong as a strong man, you have to teach him how to be like that. You have to teach him how to just go through the world. Hey, this is how the way I do business. This is how the way I just find myself just making whatever I need from here. This is how you respect people. This is how people are supposed to respect you. See, these are things that you can teach your kids without going through that struggle. It's not. I'm not saying do not. It's like not. We cannot make the mistake of the last generation. They told us, okay, let me just work while you just study, and then somehow you're gonna have a better life. No. You work. Teach your kid how to work as well. Teach him how to go through the world as well. Okay. Don't put them in a safe space where not working hard is not part of his job as a future adult. Making them part of that process could really help a lot.
Let them fail.
Yeah,
like, that's my one of the things I love about being with my cousin's kids is their daughter's 4, and every time I see her, she's wearing a sundress, but she is covered in cuts and bruises from being a kid. Like, she'll just, like, we're hanging out, she fell down and hit her head, and she's like, and I go down, I go, what's, and like her brother pushed her over, she goes, I hate you, and I go, talk to me, what's going on? She goes, well, he pushed me and I hit him, and I go, you okay? And all she needed was me to listen. All she needed was me to go, what's going on? Talk to me. And within 30 seconds, she's fine.
Yeah. She's running again.
Get the fuck out. And also, it's good. You should fucking feel pain. You don't want them. I don't want fucking weak kids, dude. I don't care what anyone says. I'll still love them, but I don't want fucking weak kids.
That's so much. That's not even making a favor to nobody. Having weak kids doesn't help anybody.
No, it doesn't help them, because then they grow up and they have no real problems, and they try and take someone else's plight and make it their own
I think
identity.
in making kids accountable, if they did something wrong, make sure that there's some consequences when they do things wrong. When they do things right, just make sure nice job, right? But just making sure that there's a reason why doing things wrong, there's consequences, and doing things good, there's some kind of reward, and I think that's all about the family, the structure. I mean, if dad is in the right place and mom is in the right place, and they know what they need to do to the future family, everything will be fine.
I got big into. So I know how to read people. It's a quality I have. It's something I've developed to survive, to be a better comedian, and to be better at life. And I pride myself in my ability to look someone and realize where they come from and what's going on. And what I've instinctively, time and time again, realized is that the problems we have overwhelmingly as adults, they always come from childhood. And if you look at people, and once you find out, oh, I didn't have a mom, or I didn't have a dad, or my mom was a junkie, or my dad was abusive, you go, that's why you do that thing. That's why you do that thing. That's why that aspect of your personality has that thing, as how you interact with others. And like me, I don't want to be the man my dad is. And so I will govern myself accordingly.
You want to end a cycle. You want to.
I don't want to. I'm not going to continue a cycle of apples falling right in the same place and becoming the next fucking alcoholic tree. Like your dad was a musician. He taught you how to fucking play. My dad taught me how to fucking drink. He didn't put anything in my hands, but I watched him enough to know I'm gonna fucking do this thing too.
That's very interesting.
And my kid won't ever grow up seeing me fucking touch liquor. Genetically, he'll probably be a fucking booze bag too. It's in his fucking genes. But I won't be the one that set that fucking.
But
example.
at least it's not gonna be because dad was doing it. This is where it's important to make sure that you start drinking was not because of me, because I didn't teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with my dad. I mean, I remember one time when my brother was doing drugs and stuff like that, and something happened. He lost control of it, and he called my dad. And they were having the conversation. My dad has just gave a small statement. I'm very upset for what you did.
Yeah.
You didn't learn that from me. That only with that destroyed my brother's reality.
Yeah.
Only that statement.
You have those moments, dude.
Yeah.
I had I watched my father mentally and emotionally abuse and destroy my mother over the course of my life. In some really horrible fucking ways. And with my first girlfriend, Pablo just goes, how bad did he fuck her up? And she just starts dying laughing. What the?
You know what's crazy? Since I know Mike, we always talk about these things, right?
Yeah.
And it never gets old. That's a very interesting. It never gets old because I do understand where you're coming from, man.
Yeah, and I caught myself doing it to a girlfriend. I remember coming out of a blackout and I was screaming at her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you fucking dumb cunt, come pick me up. And I had a concussion. I fell down. I hit my head. One of the many concussions I've had. And I remember her just crying on the phone. And when I sobered up, I went, this isn't who I want to fucking be. This is a vestige in me of what I as a child thought a man was. And it's not what a man is supposed to be, and it's not the man I will be, and I won't fucking do this again. I think we all have those moments.
Yeah,
we should.
Rock bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, we should. That's a nice thing to start a debate. We should, or we should not hit that rock bottom to just make some changes.
Everyone has a different version of what it is. And if you don't hit a wall, you don't get to change yourself. And no one's born right or born perfect. So you have to fucking hit something and then decide, this is what I want to be, and that's what I don't want to be.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But shit, man, we're getting late on this podcast, and your girlfriend's, she's hiding over there on the other side of the apartment. We're making this poor pregnant lady hiding in the bathroom, so we should finish off.
It's all good, man. Yo, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is going to be a cross one, so I should thank you, too, because it made me all home.
Let me give you something, man. This is my draft from my book.
Dude, you're Oh. Pablo, I've watched Pablo routinely practice at night and write books.
Yeah.
You got a draft?
This is a draft from my upcoming book. There you go, man.
Get it out there. Guide to getting your music out to the world. Pablo J. Ruiz Vargas.
Yeah, man.
Dude, Hispanics always have so many names in their name.
Yeah, man. It just comes with
Every Cuban I meet has like 8 fucking names.
You know, but Puerto Ricans has very short names compared with the other Hispanic culture. Yeah. Mexican, they have longer names. Manuel de la Garza de la Cabrera, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans are very simple. It's just sometimes you include the 2 last names. Like in the States, you usually have 1 last name.
Yeah, you get in my culture. You
Mike
get,
Bain, right?
Well,
or Mike.
I have my middle name, Michael James Bain, but I have a confirmation name because I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
That I had to take during confirmation. So Michael James Gregory Bain.
Exactly.
So at most we would have 4 names.
So it's like the same because we're Catholic. So in my case, I had 2 last names. So Pablo Jose Ruiz Vargas. So Ruiz Vargas is my just Catholic's name because they put my mom's and my father's first name. You know. Yeah, but that's the book, man. That's the first draft. I had to fix a couple things, but that's for you, man.
Well, thank you, man, and I appreciate you doing this with me. I'm glad I got to see you again.
Yeah, man.
And we'll have to do this again because we have so many fucking stories we could talk about. Like I wouldn't even get into the whole no fap thing and us getting over.
God, bro.
Us getting over our fucking. We touched on it, but us getting over our demons as fucking horny single men. And
that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
You know it. That's a big one for me. The nofap stuff, and we can just wait. We can just go for hours.
Yeah, man. Stuff. You saw me when I just got single from a 7-year relationship, and I was fucked up about it. So, well, I don't. Let's promote your stuff.
So basically, you can find me in YouTube and Facebook for the P Alpha Music. P Alpha Music Podcast, and you can find me directly to my link, so it's palphamusic.com. You can find my blog and article that I write every week. It's all related with music and self-development. And for my podcast, you can find me in Google Radio, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so on and so forth, and anchor.fm/P Alpha Music Podcast. So I'm everywhere, man.
That's the other. I want to do one again where we can. I didn't even get into your music. We just talked about.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Which is what we do. But Pablo is an amazing, accomplished musician, and I want to talk about classical music. Who's your favorite composer, real quick?
So I don't have a favorite composer. No. I do have
Beethoven,
influence.
Mozart, Rachmaninoff.
So I have basically I love Liszt, Rachmaninoff, Beethoven, Bach, Karl Czerny, Chopin. It just go. I see composers.
I'm not a Chopin guy myself.
Too sugar, but I see composers as people that have different ideas, right? And I just learn from those ideas. Since I'm a composer, right? I see it differently.
Yeah.
So each composer has different ideas, so it's different influence to my music, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see composers. I'm very interested in American 19th century composers.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very into that right now.
Huh.
They're very lost into the oblivion. And no one's playing their music.
No one really is.
And right now, that's really tickling me a little bit and putting it very personal. I'm taking it a little bit personal. since we playing these European composer, but then we have this catalog of great composers, masterpieces, and no one's even touching them.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that road a little bit more personal.
Well, good. Well, we at least touched on it there, and we'll do it next time. And if you're listening on Pablo's podcast, check me out at Mike Bain Comedy, YouTube, Instagram, I TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Mike Bain. Get your act together with Mike Bain podcast on all platforms. Yeah, man.
There you go, man.
All right, dude. This is fun.
Yeah, all right, man. Thank you so much, man.
And I'm glad to see you take this next step in your life, dude.
Thank you so much, man.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys.